Welcome to your Monday. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne, aka your Mr. Monday, and this quick bit of motivation and inspiration was originally published on May the 6th, 2019. The original message goes as follows. Firefighters are successful when they save a building from a fire. They are more successful when there are no fires. So, going a bit deeper into this week's message, and before I go too deep, I want to recognize how the circularity, which is not a real word, but how the circular nature of these messages are. Because, as you know from reading in the details, or if you've not, I'm cluing in right now, all these messages are written well in advance. In fact, today's being produced for the 6th day of the 5th month of the year 2019. That's, of course, the 6th of May, 2019. I've already reached enough entries to reach up to May of 2021. And in the last few months, I wrote another quick message on firefighters and idle time, but we'll get to that in about a year and a half. Right now, let's deal with this one for today, talking about firefighters and their jobs, which is technically not to fight fires, but to do whatever they can to prevent a fire, and if a fire does occur, be available to deal with it. There are no incentive bonuses for fighting a fire faster or the volume of fires getting more fires in a quarter. It's just if a fire is there, you do what you can to put it out and put it out safely for yourselves and the people around and the other buildings and structures around as well. So training is very important for people who are firemen or people who, in the metaphorical way, fight fires. But you get more out of being a fireman by preparing yourself with as much training as possible in non-life-threatening, non-actual fire situations so that when a fire does occur, you can take care of it effectively and efficiently. But what's even better is in the knowledge that firemen actually portray, the knowledge that they send out when they go to schools and sometimes to buildings to talk to actual people to deal with how to handle situations where you can prevent a fire. Very recently, we've had some firemen here at the building where I work, about a 21, 22-year-old building, that were in to inspect the building, inspect how things were, make sure that there weren't anything like live wires hanging from the ceiling because they see things like that. Make sure that if we did any construction someplace, we didn't do it with shoddy materials or things that were extra flammable. We have not. And most importantly, to check the fire extinguishers and make sure they were good. They had enough pressure. They weren't expired. They were able to be used if ever we had something going on. Because the biggest thing they tried to convey to us is a small fire that we can put out in a small period of time in a small area saves them the time and trouble from getting to the building to put out a large fire. And, of course, saves the actual building. You don't have to worry about the massive destruction because there's very little destruction and most of it can be taken care of with a few couple thousands of dollars instead of the couple millions of dollars it'll take to rebuild this building and the millions that cannot be paid to bring back any lives that may have been lost. If you are an actual firefighter, I salute you for all the hard work and effort that you do. If you are a metaphorical firefighter, which many of us are in our jobs these days, I salute you for what you do as well, but remind you that we can learn something from actual firefighters. Their job is not to put out fires as the main goal. Their job is to prevent the fires from happening in the first place and keep them from becoming larger fires if they have to deal with a fire. So as a firefighter in your business or in the relations with your extended family or just in the general group you work in, it's really important to do a few things to maintain that safety net before you have to deal with the actual issue, the real fire. Number one is maintain yourself. Always work on maintaining yourself so that you are not flustered, you are not overdoing it, so that you can handle the large fire. Number two is to train for the fire that may happen and have the ability to figure out exactly how to deal with it as quickly as possible before it escalates into something much larger. And the third thing is maintain healthy relationships with your team, the people who are there to help you and assist you in fighting the fires. If it's being at work and you're having issues with personnel there, figure it out. Find a way to come to some conclusion, to agree to disagree someplace so you can work on the things that must be done. If it's family gets really complicated really quickly. Do whatever you can to de-escalate all the complications so that when an actual family emergency arrives, you can get on it and your family will get on it as well. If it's your batch of buddies, maybe it's time to find a new batch of buddies who are actually keeping up with you and keeping you up to speed of what needs to be done. Or maybe the guys you have can be salvaged because you love those guys. They just have to get that quick shaking to get them alive and awake to what's going on. And maybe it's time you gave them that talk. Firefighters are successful when they save a building from a fire. They are more successful when there are no fires. This original message was published on May the 6th, 2019 from Welcome to Your Monday. For more messages like this one, plus books, merchandise, and other information related to this project, visit the website welcometoyourmonday.com.